Sit back and throw one back with your pinky in the air and a middle finger to the world. And join me, the eclectic gentleman Stephen Watts, and the rest of the Gentleman Bastard Brigade as we look back on this day in pro wrestling history. But before we do, put that drink down, like, share, and subscribe, and without further ado, let's get our wrestling nerd on. It is February 19th, and we're going to start off as we always do on a positive note. That's right, these are your pro wrestling birthdays. 1937, Humberto Garza. 1948, Big John Studd. 1949, the luchador known as Black Man. 1958, a gentleman I had the pleasure of being in the ring with, Tommy Cairo. 1972, the vivacious Francine. 1974, Danny Doring. 1976, OVW standout, Helena Heavenly. 1981, Shawn Spears. 1982, El Torito. 1987, Solo Darling. And last but not least, one of my personal favorite current stars, 1991, David Starr. Hot damn, that's a lot of birthdays. Like, if I did a birthday shot for each and every single one of those, I'd be flat out. Of course, on the flip side of that coin, your pro wrestling deaths for February 19th. 1968, the legend George Hackenschmidt. 1992, Tojo Yamamoto. And last but not least, 2002, Swede Hansen. Alright, enough of the sad stuff. It's time to get to the meat and potatoes. That's right, these are your pro wrestling history highlights for February 19th. 1920, Paul Bowser defeats Billy Schober in Ohio for the American middleweight title. 1939, Octavio Gano, recognized as World Middleweight Champion by EMLL, defeats National Wrestling Association World Middleweight Champion Gus Gallo in Mexico City, Mexico. Gano became the first NWA World Middleweight Champion with this win, which upon EMLL's entrance into the NWA. 1942, Billy Longson defeats Sandor Sabo in St. Louis, Missouri to win the NWA World Heavyweight title. Billy Longson must love this date in history because 1943, Billy Longson defeats Bobby Mangoff for the National Wrestling Association World Heavyweight title in Houston, Texas, beginning his second reign with the title. 1968, in New York City, New York, the WWF held its first event in the fourth and current incarnation of Madison Square Garden. The previous Madison Square Gardens opened in 1879, 1890, and 1925, respectively. In the main event of that show, World Heavyweight Champion Bruno Sammartino defeated Bull Ramos by submission. 1978, Maple Leaf Wrestling held an event at Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. The show is notable for being the only show ever to have the AWA World Heavyweight Champion, the British Heavyweight Champion, and the WWF Heavyweight Championship all defended on the same show. But funny enough, none of those titles were the main event. In the main event of that show, Dusty Rhodes defeats Ken Patera. 1979, Mark Lewin and the Spoiler defeat David and Kevin Von Erich for the NWA America Tag Team titles. 1994, the Heavenly Bodies, Jimmy Del Rey and Tom Pritchard, defeat the Rock and Roll Express, Robert Gibson and Ricky Morton, for the Smoky Mountain Wrestling Tag Team titles. 1995, WCW held its 5th annual Super Brawl pay-per-view at Baltimore Arena in Baltimore, Maryland. In the main event, WCW World Heavyweight Champion Hulk Hogan, with Jimmy Hart, defeated WCW United States Heavyweight Champion Vader by disqualification when Ric Flair interfered. And last but not least, 1998, in a show that I was actually part of the ring crew for, the Independent Professional Wrestling Alliance heavyweight title changes twice in one night in Alexandria, Virginia, as Lance Diamond ends Cue-Ball Carmichael's third reign, then loses the title to Jimmy Cicero. Those are your pro wrestling history highlights for February 19th. I'm the Eclectic Gentleman, Stephen Watts, and we'll see you tomorrow.